Welcome to NextLabs Expert Q&A Series. This series was designed to inform you of relevant cybersecurity topics via expert knowledge.
Welcome back to the NextLabs Cybersecurity Expert Series. In this episode, we have our guest, Nipun Mahajan, Executive Vice President of ISACA Denver Chapter, joining us to discuss how AI can strengthen data security and system resilience in SAP environments. Now, he will introduce himself before we move into the Q&A.
Before I even introduce myself, Shinvi, I wanted to thank NextLab for this opportunity to connect and share my experience on SAP and AI-driven security. So, hi everyone, my name is Nipun Mahajan. I work in the Security Operations Center for a biotechnology firm, and I'm responsible for securing the digital transformation of SAP systems. My role focuses on protecting SAP landscape as they evolve across S/4HANA, cloud, and hybrid environments, ensuring strong security, continuous monitoring, and resilience, while enabling the business to transform safely. Now, SAP systems are mission-critical systems and highly complex, which with massive data volumes, custom code, as well as there are constant changes that happen in it. So AI is essential because it enables continuous monitoring at scale. It helps detect anomalies and threats faster than manual or rule-based approaches. And it also helps predict risks before they disrupt business operations. So I also want to talk about a little bit about the key challenges in securing SAP environments. Organizations really struggle with the growing complexity of SAP landscape, excessive or poorly governed user authorizations, limited visibility over hybrid or cloud environments, and slow detection of misconfigurations or malicious activity. So on top of this, there are so many frequent upgrades, integrations, and business changes that makes it difficult to maintain consistent security and compliance without intelligent and automated support.
Thank you for your introduction, Nipun. It's wonderful to have you here with us. Let's kick things off with access control. I'm curious, how can organizations apply zero trust principles to prevent unauthorized access and lateral movement within SAP systems?
That's a really great question, right? When it comes to zero trust principles to SAP environments. So zero trust in SAP, it actually starts with enforcing least privilege access. So users or service accounts as well as integrations should have only the minimum authorizations that are required to perform the role. So this actually requires well-designed SAP rules, removals of excessive or inherited privileges, as well as regular access reviews. So I would say segregation of duty controls are critical to prevent high-risk combinations that could lead to fraud or system misuse. Now, on top of that, there is a continuous verification of identity and access context. So zero trust assumes implicit trust. Even for internal users, organizations should actually continuously verify users' identity and access context by combining strong authentication using MFA. So in SAP environments, this means validating that not just who the user is, but also when, where, and how they are accessing sensitive transactions, data, or configurations. Now, let's talk a little bit about segmentation when it comes to different modules. So to reduce the impact of compromised accounts, SAP systems and modules should be logically segmented. Critical functions such as SAP Finance, HR, or supply chain should be isolated through role design or authorization scope, as well as system level controls. So network and application level segmentation can further restrict access path, ensuring that a user or a process in one SAP domain cannot easily move laterally into high-risk areas. So now let's see how AI-driven monitoring and anomaly detection can help here. So AI plays a key role to enforcing a zero trust by continuously monitoring SAP access and activity patterns. So machine learning models can detect anomalies such as unusual transaction usage, abnormal access types, unexpected unexpected data volume changes or deviations from established user behavior. So you could see sometimes, I'll give you an example here. If you see a pattern where a user is changing a an SNC name in SU01, so that is something an anomaly and should be detected at the right time. So it cannot be misused.
That's really interesting. Once access is controlled, I imagine the next step is keeping an eye on what's happening inside the system. So, how can AI identify unusual behavior or emerging threats before they escalate into security incidents?
When it comes to monitoring abnormal logins and data access activity, so what would happen is that an AI could continuously analyze SAP security logs. And it's not just a one type of log, SN19. It could be different log. It could be a table log. It could be SN20 logs. It could be other forms of logs. So this could be used to validate if there were any failed authentications or if there are any concurrent sessions from different locations or abnormal access times. So it also helps you identify, let's say if there was a change to a sensitive table, such as a vendor master or a customer master table, or a bank account detail has been changed. So the threats are flagged by AI, and that way you're able to detect what's happening. Now, when it comes to machine learning models, they tend to evaluate SAP business workflows, including purchase orders, invoice approvals, and vendor payments. Now, by understanding normal approval paths, timing, and values, AI can also detect such as approval bypassing or required steps. So, unusually fast approvals. Let's say if someone made a payment very quickly for a process, so it's very difficult to identify for a human to and raise a flag. It might be a flag after 3 or 4 months during an audit, but AI or the machine learning models can usually help them identify on real-time basis, and this is really helpful. Now, let's talk about another form of AI. So this area, I think I deal with it a lot. So that's what called as configurations. So configurations are really important in SAP systems because it makes or breaks the system. So if you have a configuration that allows users to make changes to a system, that would be a big disaster. So AI can eventually help analyze historical SAP configuration changes, including SPRO settings, transport activity, and system behavior after changes. So by correlating past incidents and system disruptions with specific configuration patterns, AI can predict which changes are likely to introduce risk, security gaps, or operation instability, allowing teams to intervene before issues impact production. Now, this is another aspect of it. Now that the thing has been detected, it has to be also be alerted to the right people. So there are ways where you can come up with the strategies using AI that the right trigger reaches out to the right people and the incident gets escalated on time for detection.
Absolutely, and beyond monitoring behavior, protecting the actual data itself is clearly critical. What are the most effective ways to safeguard sensitive SAP data, and how does AI enhance these approaches?
Again, another good question. So, safeguarding sensitive data. I think the very first thing that the company needs to understand is data classification. So, data classification by sensitivity and business impact. So, if you want to go ahead with effective data protection, what matters the most is you are able to classify what is confidential and what is operation only. So once you have this understanding of this within your different systems like S4HANA or BW or any cloud-based systems, so this classification will help to create consistent protection policies and help prioritize specific controls and ensure that the most critical data receives the highest level of security. Now, this is another way this could help is when it comes to data protection. When you know a sensitive SAP data must be protected, And then you can apply controls both for data at rest as well as in transit using strong encryption. So this includes critical tables like GL postings, payroll record, master data extracts. So in addition to encryption, right, usage controls like table access restriction, masking, and control export mechanisms help prevent unauthorized viewing as well as copying of data. Imagine a scenario where you have given access to SE16 to the users and they can blindly just go in and download all the data and send it out. This is where a lot of test needs to be given. And the next thing I want to talk about how AI-driven monitoring for data access anomalies. So AI enhances data protection by continuously monitoring how sensitive SAP data is accessed and used. So the machine learning models establish baselines for normal behavior, and also it detects anomalies such as unusual query volumes of our access as well as unexpected data downloads. These insights allow SOC team to identify potential data leakage, insider threats, or compromised accounts in real time. Imagine a scenario where you have your vendor master data table and user downloads it, and a lot of times it will be done. But this will tend to be risky when the user is sending this information out through their Gmail or their any other account. So this is where AI-driven monitoring will help you out to validate that okay, such an action is being performed, and it will be flagged as a risk on real-time basis. Okay, let's also talk about AI-enabled automation enforces. When it comes to automation, it enforces security policies consistently across SAP systems. So if the configuration has been done across the right way across different systems, you would have a consistent pattern to view all the systems, and that way none of the SAP systems won't be left unprotected.
Right, and I suppose even with strong data protections, some risks still come from insiders, either by accident or on purpose. How can AI complement traditional access controls to reduce the impact of accidental or malicious insider activity?
So I think it's more about the pattern. So what AI can do is AI can continuously analyze SAP transaction code usage and workflow approvals to identify behavior that deviates from the normal pattern. So this an example would be this includes usual execution of high risk transaction code, abnormal frequency of timing of approvals, as well as activities that fall outside of a user's typical responsibilities. So this will actually help uncover both accidental misuse as well as malicious insider activities. Now, when it comes to traditional role-based and attributes-based access control, they define who can access SAP transaction. Now, AI can enhance these controls by adding behavioral intelligence, continuously validating whether access is being used as expected or not. So when behavior deviates from the learned norms, AI can flag, restrict, or require additional verification, creating a more adaptive and risk-aware access model. So example would be someone logged in from an IP from Somalia, but the user is based somewhere in New York. So it's a deviation, and if the flag is not raised on time, that means the company is going to lose a lot of confidential data because of this. Now, AI protects real-time or context-aware alerts to administrators before or during high-risk actions, such as changes to master data or financial postings. So, by considering the user role, historical behavior, as well as transaction criticality and timing, these alerts will enable informed decisions and the preventive intervention before the potential damage actually occurs.
And looking at the bigger picture, organizations also need to maintain resilience while keeping up with compliance across regions. How can AI-driven security strategies help organizations maintain system resilience while addressing regional compliance requirements?
I think regional compliance is a lot right now because when it comes to different regions, like for Europe, you have GDPR and other stuff. So it's a lot important. So I would say when it comes to AI assisted monitoring, it helps AI driven security continuously monitors SAP systems performance, availability, and security signals to detect early indicators of instability or failure. So, by correlating technical metrics with security events, AI can help identify issues such as resource exhaustion, abnormal system behavior, and so on. So, in a way, what it tells you that if AI simplifies compliance by automating evidence collection and reporting for regulations such as SOX or GDPR or local financial requirements. So what happens is that it can be done that we map the SAP controls, access logs, and process activities to regulatory framework. So reducing manual effort and while ensuring consistent audit-ready compliance across regions. So just for example, there would be certain recommendations from NIST for user compliance. So that could be that the user activity should be monitored after this many days. So AI would definitely help you remove the work that's manual, and it could be automated in a big way. And this will help you in achieving compliance both at the global as well as the local level. Now, AI, it enables organizations to balance operational efficiency with strong security by applying risk-based controls. So access decisions can adapt dynamically so on user behavior as well as data sensitivity and regional requirements. So ensuring users have timely access to the SAP systems while maintaining compliance across multiple landscapes. That includes on-prem systems, cloud, as well as hybrid environments.
Thanks for sharing such great insights today. It's clear that securing SAP systems isn't just about controlling access. It's about combining strong safeguards, smart monitoring, and AI-driven strategies to protect data, reduce insider risk, and stay resilient across regions. And with that, we come to the end of the episode on how AI can strengthen data security and system resilience in SAP environments. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned to the next episode where we will have more insights from a new expert.